Hi everyone, so let's now have a look at the factors that are influencing the labour market at the national level. Okay, so when we're concentrating on this macroeconomic level, we've got to remember that we're really dealing with the aggregate demand, aggregate supply situation. The first point that I've put down is about changes in the birth rate. Now, of course, this may well mean that if there is an increase in the birth rate, that the actual population size of the country grows, of course. But what's crucial about that is that you will not, of course, notice an increase in the working population in the immediate term. That's going to take quite some time to actually filter through to the economy, of course. But what it may well mean is that at least one of the parents will withdraw from the labour market for probably at least the first 9 to 12 months of that infant's life. Now, when they actually choose to go back to the labour market and re-engage with the world of work, they may well re-enter the workplace on a part-time, more flexible basis. Okay, so that can mean that as a result of this, that women, and it does tend to be women that perform this role, may be working part-time, and that can of course affect their longer term earnings, as we've discussed previously. Okay, so changes in life expectancy. This is an important one because with people living longer ages, it means that the state cannot continue to pay pensions for longer and longer periods of time. So therefore, there tends to be an impact on the retirement age, and you can expect the retirement age to gradually keep creeping up as life expectancy continues to rise. Now, what that does, of course, it does increase the actual working population as well, assuming, say, people need to work to 70 or 71, whatever it may be in the future, okay? So that can have a direct impact there, but it's also possible that the government may offer incentives for people that have chosen to retire to actually come back to the labour market, perhaps via tax breaks on their pensions or tax breaks on their earnings, sorry. Okay, so it's possible that actually the government can re-incentivise work for particular age demographics there of the population. Net migration, well, this is an interesting one, of course, because net migration significantly picked up with the entry into the European Union of many Eastern European countries in 2004. Okay, now this figure most recently stands at a level in September 2017 of 244,000. That's 244,000 more people entering the UK than leaving the UK. So what can we expect from this? Well, we can expect really an impact on the long run aggregate supply curve for the economy. It's more than likely that actually we may shift the long run aggregate supply from LRAS 1 out to LRAS 2 out here. Meanwhile, the actual total demand in the economy, of course, will increase from AD1 to AD2. And we can see an increase in the actual price level, and an increase in the actual real GDP that's actually attained in the economy as a result of this inward migration. Okay, so that's an interesting example to consider. Okay, and of course you can have a look at the various figures for this, and you'll see that it peaked at a level beyond 300,000 around about 2015. Okay, so yeah, that's certainly very interesting, but migration has the potential to really shift the long run aggregate supply curve, and of course total demand in the economy as well. Okay, and then the last point I've made here is about changes in the number of university students. And when it comes to changes in the university population, of course these people are making a very distinct choice to enter full-time education and pursue perhaps a degree course, and they are doing that with the opportunity cost, the next best alternative being the world of work in essence. Okay, so of course as more people actually enter the world of university education and higher education there, then it's likely to mean that there would be a decrease in the size of the actual working population and the labour market as a whole. Okay, just to finish off as well, I just thought it was useful just going back to the migration and consider the actual impact that this has had in certain industries, certainly when it comes to hospitality and the fields of agriculture and farming. The economic migrants that we have had from those Eastern European countries have certainly brought big benefits in terms of actually performing many of the jobs that we don't want to do. Okay, and the impact there, of course, we can see by a shift in the supply curve of labour for the hospitality industry. So we can see that supply curve shift. This is, of course, a micro diagram, very different from our aggregate diagram here. Okay, and we can see that the wage level has therefore dropped as a result. And that's gone down from W1 to W2. Meanwhile, employment has actually grown as workers have become, in effect, cheaper. Okay, so this is a very interesting example to consider, certainly when you combine it with the macroeconomic impact there. Okay, right guys, that's it. I hope that's useful. Thank you.